Hi there, my crown ones. Hope everyone is doing well. I just wanted to give a big crown recognition to Diane Carroll. She will definitely be missed, but she left a legacy. I remember the first time seeing her in the movie Claudine. Oh my goodness, I just fell in love with her and just her energy and just this beautiful woman with 6 kids. And even then, she was like, I don't need a man. Like, if you're going to take me, you're going to take me and my kids. So, yeah. So I just wanted to give a crown recognition to Diane Carroll and say thank you for leaving so much for us and so many accolades and awards that you paved the way for so many wonderful women. Yes. So thank you. And here is Crown Talk. The AyeAye meeting presents Crown Talk. Hi, my name is Rebecca, aka Crown ReRe, and this is Crown Talk. And I have the wonderful Stephanie from Mocha Minutes with me. Hi.
Hey there. How are you?
Fine. I want to say welcome to Duval, but not really. Thank you so much for being on my show.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. I wanted to recognize your crown because when I was on Mocha Minutes, you said something. You were like, I'm at my 100th episode, or I was like 101, but I was like, wow, like the consistency of putting out a podcast, I know is not like the easiest thing to do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, how does she do that? So that's why I just wanted to recognize your consistency with podcasting because, like I said, I know it's not the easiest thing to do, but it's something that you love to do, right?
Yeah, I do. Woo, the work along with it, buddy. I tell you.
So what made, kind of, you have 2 podcasts, is that correct?
It kind of, even though it's like on the same feed, I kind of do have 2 podcasts. So I have the Mocha Minutes podcast, and then with 3 of my friends, I do the Ratchet Aunties and Uncles podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I have 2. Oh,
Yeah.
I just realized I'm recording tomorrow.
Well, I understand, I have the AyeAye meeting and then I have Crown Talk, but they're on the same platform because
right.
Yeah. They're like AyeAye meeting's like the oldest. I always say that, and then Crown Talk is like the baby. So.
Yeah.
So, what made you want to start podcasting?
So and shout out to Rod from the Black Guy Who Tips. It literally was partly him because I mean I've always listened to podcasts and I'm like it was kind of like this thing in the back of my head like I kind of want to do that. And then I was listening to a feedback show where he said, you guys have all these opinions. You guys should really start a podcast if you want to get your opinions out. And I was like, And it's kind of like being in church when the pastor is preaching. He's not necessarily talking to you directly, but his message is like on your street. That's literally what happened. I was like, he's right. And so I 9 months later, because it took me like 9 months to, actually pull the trigger of recording and putting it out and everything.
Right.
But yeah, then I started a podcast. So it's been 2 years. I'm like, wow.
And did you were you like thinking of everything to do by yourself, or were you like, because like me, I don't like I like looking at YouTube, but I feel like I get lost like the dark hole of YouTube, where it's like I'm no longer looking at how to do podcasting. Now I'm trying to figure out how many bundles I want for my sew-in. So how did you happens all the time? But how did you say this is what I want for my podcast, or this is the type of equipment that I want for my podcast?
So yeah, I agree with you. It's a lot of places to look on YouTube where you would get super lost. So I had I think I had tweeted about this because somebody else was like, oh yeah, just start a podcast. And I had reached out to a podcast that I listened to. They don't record anymore. It's called Breakfast for Dinner. And they reached out to me. I think I tweeted them a question, and they said, well, here's the link to our page, and here's advice on equipment and software to use. And the good thing about it is most podcasters say the same thing. Disclaimer, you don't have to get this per se. They also give different versions or stuff that's a little I don't want to say cheap, I'll say cost effective, because there are some really good things that you find on Amazon, because that was the other thing, they included Amazon links where you'll find stuff that's like very reasonably priced. And I don't know if it's just because it's on Amazon or what,
Right.
but it works out and you're like, huh. So starting the podcast, like getting the information and the equipment and the software that I wanted, some of it was free or like reasonably priced. And I was like, okay, I think I can do this. And it helped that I had an Amazon gift card. So it was like, oh, that makes it even better, because a lot of the stuff ended up being free for me because somebody else gave me an Amazon gift card. I was like, ooh, I can get equipment.
Hey, thank you for investing in me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, right? And they didn't even know they were investing in my podcast. They just gave it to me for Christmas. It was like, oh, I could use this. For my podcast.
Right. Like, oh, I got a gift card.
Right. Because that's literally what I did. I was like, oh, okay, I can make this work.
Yeah, I think I bought like the podcast in a box, and it worked like the first time, and then the second time I don't know what I did, but it like nothing worked. I was like, okay, what do I do now? And I think I was getting like so frustrated with trying to like figure out how to make it work that I was like, let me just think more simply on my end, because I'm not with like the whole trying to build a robot. So I was like, let me see how simple I can make this. But yeah, however it is that you are able to make it work is what I say. It's like, cool, why not? So
right.
So yeah, let's see. So you've been podcasting for about 2 years. What did you know what you want a Mocha Minutes to be about, per se, like your goal in it?
So I wanted to be I wanted my podcast because there's a lot of niches out there, and I'm like, I wanted to be a little bit broad, even though to a certain extent I'm talking about like pop culture, but I'm also talking about politics adjacent. I'm talking about my social life and my personal life and my mental health. Talking about single life. So it's kind of, for me, it helps me if I find things that I'm interested in talking about. So I think that's the main thing that I did was, when I talk about things on the show, I only talk about things that I'm interested in, because there's a lot that happens, and some things I just don't talk about because I'm like, yeah. So no.
You're right.
Certain things that like music, sometimes I literally will just like, you know what? I don't want to talk about this on my show, but I can't wait to listen to Where's My 40 Acres and hear what they think about this.
Right.
If it's about like, or also listen to Say Something Nice. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I'll listen to these podcasts. Like sometimes on movies, I'm like, okay, I'm going to listen to, the review on movie trailer reviews, or like Why So Serious, and also Say Something Nice. So it's like, there's a lot of different places I listen. Sometimes I'm like, I don't want to talk about that on my show. There might be stories that I have a buddy of mine who was like, yeah, I get my news from your podcast.
Wow.
Wait, what? And he's like, yeah, sometimes like, I'll be like, oh, because he's one of the people, like, especially with pop culture stuff, he'd be like, I didn't know that, and then I'll listen to your show, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's really good that we're like informative when we're talking about a certain thing, like you said, because you don't know who's getting that information from just you directly.
Right.
That's really good. Yay.
Yeah.
So with that being said, how important is it for women of color voices to be heard? Not even, this is the ending of 2019, but future-wise as far as like 2020.
So I think it's very, very important that women's voices are heard, because a lot of times they're being silenced or told that they're wrong. And then you watch things explode, and it's literally what women have been saying.
Hello.
And it's like, yeah, you should have just listened to us in the first place. But I think it also takes some bravery to like step out there and speak, because a lot of times there are men trying to silence you, and then there are women telling you to be quiet so that you don't hurt a man's feelings.
Oh, that hurt my feelings. Go ahead. Yes. Proud moment. Yes. Oh my God. Say it. You are on your crown. I'm listening.
I'm just saying. I was like, because you have no idea. And the bad part about it is, you get to a certain age, you realize there have been women that have basically been telling you to sit down and be quiet won't, so you can one, catch a man and or not hurt the man's feelings. And you're
right.
just, oh, I'm sorry, where is this coming from?
Right. Okay.
I'm sorry, F his feelings. I don't know if I can curse on here, but F his feelings.
You're fine.
No, we're not doing this. So I think I definitely feel like we need more women of color voices. We need more trans women voices. We need all these voices because, you know, Black women voices, Latinx women voices, Middle Eastern and Muslim women. We need all of, basically, and I'm gonna say it, non-white women voices across the spectrum, because like this is enough.
Right.
Because that's the other thing you have for like non-white people. You always have white people trying to speak for you, and they're like, so baby, you don't know this experience, so I need you to just listen. And a lot of times I've noticed when it comes for women of color, either the white man that gets them a seat at the table won't let them sit there unless they can sit there with them. And also that goes for white women too. Like they're like, oh, we'll get you a seat at the table, but I got to be there. I'm like, I don't need you as a buddy.
Right.
Provide somebody an experience and an opportunity. You don't have to be present.
Right.
Centering yourself.
So true. That was a crown moment. Thank you. But when you said that, because when I started, I would say, well, I've been podcasting for about 2 years, a year and a half, some months. But one thing that was said to me and my sister were talking about like doing like a photo shoot and doing like alter egos or something like that. And my sister, we have like a very, very strong relationship. But I was like, yeah, my alter ego would be like standing on the soapbox and yelling out loud. And she was like, is that because you don't have a voice? And I was like, what you mean? And she was like, you know, like you talk now, but people don't like listen to you directly, so that would be alter ego. And I was like, I have a voice. And she was like, yeah, but what are you doing with it? And I was like, so then I went to like my whole like podcasting, or just trying to think of a way to have my voice being heard without it not making it about me per se. But you know, like the whole crown talk is recognizing people's crowns and having them have a platform where they can, you know, share their story. So I understand, because I was taught to, is like, okay, you're supposed to sit right here and be quiet, don't say anything.
Right.
And cross your legs and make sure, you know, this is done, that is done. And whenever that guy or whoever comes around, just yes sir, no sir. And it's like, excuse me? Like, nope, not
that's whack.
Yeah, that's not work for me.
Whack. I'm just gonna say it.
Yeah, it's just like, what? No. So, and that came from like my older peers. My mom on here, she was just like, I'm independent. I got 2 kids, which I won't. So, so yeah, but yes, that was a crown moment. I think it's very important, like you said, for women to voice, and for Black people to speak for them. Well, women of color to speak for themselves.
Right.
And have somebody else speaking for. It's like, you don't even know. That's not what we're going through right now. We're on a whole nother level. So, thank you. Okay. Let's tilt that crown a bit. Yes. So, what keeps you motivated to continue to podcasting?
Ooh, I would say ratchetry on the Twitter, but I don't want to be that, you know, obvious. But I think it's realizing that I'm doing this for me. I think a lot of times I've noticed that if you start to do stuff for other people, you get burnt out, because then you're always trying to do stuff for other people. You're trying to meet everybody else's expectation and taking out what your expectations are. Right. So if you're doing this for you because you want to get your voice out, where you want to, safe spaces are hard to come by, but sometimes for people with a podcast, this is a safe space for them. So, because they can get out their emotions and just leave it on the mic and then carry on with their day, even though you're essentially letting everybody else hear your thoughts. Right. So I get how it's like safe spaces can be a little murky. So I totally get that. But doing this for me, because I'm like, I want my voice out there. I hear about different things happening in our world and I want to speak on it. And then I just want to leave it on the mic and keep it going.
I think I relate to that, because because we were doing AyeAye meeting, and then we, like, sometimes like their schedule are busy, but it's like I literally, I'm like a homebody. Like, I only come out. I love it, but I'm learning how to be more social, and one way to do that was through podcasting. But sometimes we couldn't schedule like our meetings, and then I just was like, well, I still want a pod, so what I need to do. And that's what created like CrownTalk. Like you said, it's just a way to vent.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, I'm wrapping it up. That's that. See y'all next week. And yeah, so wonderful. I think I know a lot of people think that people get into podcasting for like money. I don't know why. And like social media and stuff. But I think organically it started with just people just saying, hey, I got some things to get off my chest.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you see people who have like started a podcast and then after 4 episodes they're like, okay, so how can I monetize this? I'm like,
hello.
What? Like, okay. They're like, are you monetizing? I'm like, you've only had like 4 episodes, baby. I need you to do some other stuff. Like,
yeah. Like your gas tank is not even like half full yet.
Right. I was just like, okay, are you doing this because you want to be the read? Because, honey, that took years too.
It did. And I love the read. And like they finally got their TV show. And it's been like almost 6 years.
Right. I was like, this didn't just happen overnight, honey.
Yeah, when we were when I released CrownTalk, I was only prepared for my mom to listen and maybe my dad.
Oh, wow.
And I was just like, I did what I wanted to do and I'm good. So, and, more listeners. I didn't have like, so sometimes I see people have like the high expectation of like, I'm trying to get like 500 listeners by the end of the week. I mean, like, but this is your third podcast, your third episode. So I don't know. I mean, it could happen. Not saying hating on anybody, but I know that it takes like longevity and consistency. So yeah. But yeah, like you said, but how can I get 10,000? Whoa. Yeah, we reached the first show yet.
You're so funny. Whoa, buddy. I need you to do some things.
Right. Okay. So from there, was there a time when you just wanted to, I call it like unplugging your mic, and you'd be like, I am just done podcasting for the rest of my life. I'm going to retire from podcasting.
You're like, yeah, I'm done with this. Yeah, we're not doing it live. Goodbye. I'm just done with y'all. I'm just gonna walk away.
Do a Nicki Minaj tweet. Just be like, I'm gonna like not do anything for you guys. I said, y'all really playing because y'all know that she has a Queen Radio, and I'm sure anything that she wants to address will be on Queen. That's Twitter.
It's like, please. It's like, it's like, when's Queen Radio come on? Oh yeah, let me make sure I'm not off Twitter that day.
Right.
It's gonna be extremely funny, and y'all gonna tell me, or it's gonna be extremely stupid, and y'all gonna tell me, or it's gonna be extremely problematic, and y'all gonna tell me. And usually it's all 3 of those wrapped up into like what, 4, 5, 25 hours. I don't know how long.
Yeah. I listened for the entertainment of her screaming and
what are you talking about, Joe? I'm like, girl. It was like watching Spider-Man point at Spider-Man. I'm like, y'all both problematic. What are you doing?
Right. Your mother. I
was like, what? Like,
and I was at work and I was just like, right. Yeah. I was like, this
girl,
bless her heart. So
oh my God.
I am a Nicki fan of her music, but with her personality, I was like, I did not know that you were just like this.
Sometimes I miss the days of like artists and you not knowing too much about them, and now I'm like, I know way too much. Because you talk too much. It's like, oh Lord. I'm like, you won't know why I love Prince so much. I don't know nothing about him. Barely know anything about him.
I can't even be a big fan of Kendrick Lamar because I don't know anything about him but his music. And I am his biggest, I think I put that when you talking about like conscious rappers, I was like, I would give Kendrick Lamar lotion anytime.
Please give his ashy ass. But yeah,
I love him, but yeah, I know nothing about him. I just found out that he got married or had a child. So
wait, he's married?
I think he's married or engaged, but I know for sure, rumors happening. I don't know. He never says what's true and what's not true. So
not rumors. That's funny.
So yeah, I know for sure he had a child. So
okay.
But yeah,
well, that part I did know. I know about him having a child, but
somebody told me he was married, but again,
we don't know. Be. I mean, I don't know. I don't pay attention to him. So
right, I'm his biggest fan, and not really because I don't know nothing about him. Okay, so
hey.
That's the best way to be sometimes.
It really is, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, was there a time that you wanted to just be like, I am retired from podcasting. I don't want to talk about anything anymore. Lights out.
So it honestly, came after this is going to sound so weird to say, but after I lost my co-host, because Mocha Minutes started with 2 people.
Oh.
And she didn't want to do it because this isn't what she wants to do. And that's another thing I would tell people. Don't get into this for the wrong reason. And also, if this is not what you don't want to do, please don't do it. It's like,
right.
So she didn't want to do it. And she said, I think you should do it I think you could do it by yourself. And it's not because I was at this point where I'm like, I can't do this by myself. I was literally like, oh my God, I can't do this by myself. I'm like, and I realized that I was pushing my friend to do something that I want to do and using her as a crutch.
Aww.
And this is not something she wants to do. That's not fair. It's not fair to her. Because you don't, like, people who get into these pyramid schemes trying to message me on Facebook, I ain't doing that. Okay?
Right.
I ain't doing it. I'm not selling it. I'm not trying to, like, sell your tea or, real estate or, your timeshares. I'm not doing that, boo. Please stop messaging me because I will just start blocking you. Like, talking to people from high school, you ain't talked to me since 10th grade. I am 38 years old. And you're like, hey, girl, how you doing?
That's like a setup by itself.
It's like, I have not talked to you literally since high school. I didn't even see you at 10-year reunion.
When people do that, I'd be like, I always put in my, like, when they be like, hey, how you doing? And like try to sell me something, I always answer back, are you being scammed? No, are you being hacked?
Are you hacked? I think you're hacked.
Yeah, I asked them, are you hacked? And then, they can lie and just say yes, or they could just say no. But I just say yes because I'm trying to help you out by you just backing away.
Yeah. Right. I'm like, yeah, I'm no, baby, I'm not doing this. Like, I'm sorry, I love you.
Right.
No.
So how was that transition of going from a co-host to just being you?
Solo?
Yeah.
It was interesting at first because I haven't done any solo shows since like my first year. And then I just transitioned to having like a rotating guest. And it was so funny because the shows were shorter because I'm only there by myself. Shout out to Mr. Span because he can have like an hour, 2 hours with his show and it's just him. And I'm like,
oh wow,
do this. But I think he talks about a lot more content than I was at the time.
Yeah,
so that might be it. But it's so funny because I'm like, Span, how do you do it? And I've reached out to him and gotten advice too because he's a solo podcaster. I'm like, whoo. It's like, whew. It's like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
If there's stuff that you're interested in, that's the other thing. Like, if you decide to be a solo podcaster, you definitely have to be interested in what you're doing.
Right.
You can't half-ass it if you're solo because you don't have anybody to bounce off of.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't do like a Q&A because ain't nobody there.
Right. So because Span also does he talks about pop culture and like in various topics, or sometimes he might literally just talk about one topic for like 2 hours. I think he dissected that Revolt Con video with Owens and T.I. and Killer Mike, and I told him like, you're doing the Lord's work because I was not going to watch that, and I still have not. I listened to the podcast where he discussed it, but I'm like, I'm not sitting up and looking at Broken Clocks Con. I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it. It's too many broken clocks out there. Y'all,
you're right.
Okay, I'm like, nope, no.
Yeah, I didn't watch it either. I love Killer Mike when he starts yelling, and then T.I. his word choices have always been.
It's senior vocabularious. I'm like, sir, if you don't stop. It's like
I don't know who asked you to say that. Like,
it's like, where are you getting this? It's like that A Living Color skit where Damon Wayans played that guy in jail and he just started putting big words everywhere. And you're like, wait, that's not what. And because at the time you're like, okay, I don't know what that word means, but I feel like that's not what that word means.
Right.
He's adding big words. It's like words.
Yeah, and it's voluntary, so you don't even have to say it. Nobody asked you.
Absolutely not. It's like, boo, what are you doing?
Yeah, but for him to break it down oh my goodness, wow, 2 hours.
Child, it was just like God bless Spain. I'm like, go ahead, baby.
Wow.
Just do it, baby. Just do it, because I can't. Because some stuff, and that's the other thing. That's why I think that's good for podcasts, is because you can tailor to what you want to talk about. That was a topic that I'm like, I'm not talking about that, because I'm sorry, F everybody on that stage. I'm sorry. I'm like, F all of y'all, because all of y'all are problematic as hell. Candace and Split Ends and T.I. and Killer Mike and it's like, no, I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
It's like two of them people, I'm like, yo, just need to stick to music and shut up.
I agree.
Like,
well, I like Killer Mike, but yeah, there's certain times. Like when he starts yelling and trying to justify the choices of Black people, I just be like, that's not what they actually do. Like,
Lord, that man.
But yeah, because when you say that, that's what CrownTalk Mini Moment started, because I still wanted to reach out to my crown ones out there. But I can only do, the first time I did CrownTalk Mini Moment, I think I recorded it like over like 12 times. And it was only like 10 minutes, but I was just like, I don't feel right talking to myself.
Oh no.
And I was like, I don't understand why I can't like think about what I'm like. I am a visual person, so I can see things and like try to move it around to make it happen. But when it comes to me actually trying to express how I feel, it's like a stick in the mud. It's like so aggravating to me. But I'm learning how to do it through podcasting. But like you said, to like you don't have ideas to bounce off of, where it's just like, oh, so what do you want to talk about today? Who, me? Oh, so you talking about me? Oh, I'm talking to myself. So so yeah, I was like, I do like a crown talk me over to reach out to my crown ones, but like you said, it's really different when you don't have, like when I end up like on the AyeAye, they were like, I miss you guys so much. It's just me sitting here like trying to do like a 10-minute conversation with myself and spread the message or however. But yeah, it's definitely a difference. But I'm glad that you decided to continue to do Mocha Minutes. I love it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, and then from there, to my crown ones. If you didn't know, Stephanie invited me to Mocha Minutes. She was very, very professional about it. I had a very wonderful time. And because I am just inspired by other podcasters, I kind of like upset my game. So we are doing this remotely, and that is all because of Stephanie inviting me onto her platform. So I told her behind the scenes, I'm telling her now, just thank you so much. I appreciate that. I was like,
You're welcome.
We got Google Docs. We're the best now.
Like what?
Together. I said, you don't have to be in the room. Oh, okay, we got this. So, and you have been so patient with me, so I definitely appreciate that. So, when was your success moment?
I feel like my success moment was, because I think with podcasting, success is so subjective. It's not objective. So I think one was reaching a certain amount of downloads. And guys, another thing is, don't watch your downloads all the time. Just because that honestly takes the fun out of it. Because it's like, if you get so hung up like, oh, I only have this amount of downloads, I wish I got this amount of downloads, I wish I got so and so's downloads, it's like you're not having any fun, and you're not doing it for you, and you're not enjoying it.
Right.
Because sometimes downloads could bring it down if it's not where you would want it to be. Like, and sometimes it don't even reflect. So it's fine. I think when I got to, for me, that my success moment was when I got to be a panelist at a podcast festival. Because I'm like, it made me feel like a real podcaster. So I got to be a panelist for Afros and Audios. It was last June.
Oh wow.
So it was up in New York, and it was such an amazing experience. I absolutely loved it. And it made me feel like a real podcaster, because I was actually around other podcasters. And there's so many people who do a lot of niche stuff, and then there's people who do like general stuff, like or better yet, pop culture stuff that I do.
Yeah.
And it was great to like put faces to names and also hear about other Black podcasts.
Yeah.
New York is honestly, it feels like the mecca for podcasts, because there are a lot of New York podcasters.
Oh.
Which I was like, they're like, where you from? Oh, I'm from the Bronx. I'm from Brooklyn. I'm here. I'm in Queens. I'm like, well, damn. Okay. But do I need to move? I'm not moving to New York.
Okay. I don't think you have to, but I mean, do what you do.
I can't, because I'm like, if I go from my townhouse to a closet for double the amount, I might die. I'm like, unless if I was doing $1 million listing and making millions of dollars, then maybe, but it's like, no.
Right. I'm like, anybody seen Stephanie lately?
Right. I'm sorry. I'm selling, like, nope. Like, having dinner. Sorry,
right.
the world. Sorry, can't talk to you.
So on the while you were a panel, were you just give information about your podcast or?
So the panel that I was on, oh gosh, we were talking about. And the great thing, I was in a group of other people where and there was a guy who does a travel podcast. That's Jerry, aka Kimono Jack. He does the Point Noir podcast where they talk about and he's a solo podcaster too, so that was a good thing. I was like, oh, another solo podcaster. Somebody else.
Friend.
They know, sometimes they know the inevitable struggle of being a solo podcaster. You're like, ooh, Chile.
Yeah.
So our podcast discussion was diversity within. So it was great because you had Jerry, who does a travel podcast, which is somewhat niche, and then it was Cordero, aka CEO Hayes of the Breaks Media group. I'm sorry, podcast network. They got a gang of podcasts over there. So he does an interview based podcast, and then he has I think he does 2 podcasts right now. I think it's
wow,
Love and Lust and Badass, and then The Awakened Soul. So it's like he has an interview style, and then he has another podcast where it's a group of folks, and they talk about relationships and love, and centered around that. So even on with us, within the 3 of us, there was diversity in what we talk about, because I talk about current events, and
right.
I treat my show like the potpourri Jeopardy category of black shit. So that's how I treat it. So it could be about my single life and how dating is the ghetto.
It's the worst.
It's the ghetto. It's like, it's the trailer park if you really dig deep.
That's why I have the Don't Be a Hoe for Hugs. I'm listening. I am.
Don't be a hoe for hugs.
I'm trying to push that so much.
Look, if you look, hey, if hoe is life for you. I'm not gonna tell you that not to do hoe is life. If that's what you do,
there's no judgment but just for me, I don't want to be a hoe for hugs. So yeah.
I get it. I get it, honey.
Yeah, but that's nice that so did they extend their hand out to invite you, or?
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, speaking as you being a panelist, did they invite you, or?
So you actually, a lot of for the podcast festivals, you would actually submit a form and say, why you want to do it. Sometimes they ask you to pitch what you would want to talk about, and then other times they have panels that say, would you like to talk about this topic? So I actually filled out the application, and I filled it out so early, so when I heard back, they were like, oh, welcome to the podcast festival. I'm like, wait, what? I'm like, it gave me such a boost. I was like, I'm a real podcaster because I'm speaking at a podcast festival. This is crazy.
Wonderful. Yes.
Oh my God. I'm like, I actually got business cards. I was like, I feel like they're like, yeah, you should get business cards because and I'm like, you podcast, and it was this is how novice I was at the time. Everybody's like, do you have a business card? And I was like, I don't. I guess I should.
Yeah. You're like, next time I'll have that.
But I got it for the festival. People are like, oh, I like your business cards. I'm like, thank you. And the thing about this, there were so many people who had them. So that was the other thing. It was
and I would never think to get business cards for a podcast because everything is on social media that you just write. Well, I'm probably me trying to be professional, but I just be yelling out my my social media stuff, and then we trying to remember how to spell it. So
and there were so many different ones. Somebody had most cards are a rectangle.
Yeah,
this woman had square cards. I'm like, this is super cute. I'm like, oh, these are super cute.
I never think to do that. Oh,
great. Yeah.
You're giving me jewels over here. Okay, so moving on from there. Well, actually, let's talk about this since we're talking about pod festivals and podcasts. So the first time that I saw you,
Oh.
You didn't see me, but you were on Python and you were giving awesome advice about being a guest or having a guest on the show. And one thing I believe that I know for sure, you were like, and it got to, I was like, oh, I do that all the time. Sometimes I'm learning how to not say, oh, okay, when I'm talking. And you were like, you were like, you could just say it in your head. You don't have to say it out loud. And I was like, oh, she's talking to me. I was like, I do that because you go back and listen to yourself. And of course, as podcasters, I do like my own editing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I'm saying it now. Like I'm always saying like, and I was like, okay, let me take all my arms out of one of my shows. And I was like, I've been sitting here for about a good 20 minutes taking out arms. And it's like, I could have just said that stuff in my head, like, okay, I'm listening. So, but I enjoyed you being on Python because you are a wonderful person.
Thank you.
But I just like that, and Python itself was really wonderful because sometimes people tend to be selfish with their information, and it's just like, why? And so I think
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's like people be like, well, I know this shortcut, but I'm gonna let you go the long way. And it's like, even if we get there at the same time, I have different information than you, so there's no competition there. So I definitely, when you asked me to be in your show, I was like, I know her. Like, I'm a fan of hers. Listening to Mocha Minutes. I was like, oh my God. But I definitely recognize your crown for that because, like I said, there doesn't have to be a Python, or you don't have to be a panelist. So for you to even apply and say, hey, I want to share this information with people, it's like very important, and it's like an unselfish thing to do. So thank you for that.
Oh, sure. Oh, that's so nice. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you not say realize that, but do you think that people should share more information on podcasting?
I think they should, and no, I'm sorry. The short answer is yes. Okay. The long answer is that I think sometimes, because the great thing about it is a lot of podcasters are open to you asking them questions. Because they're like, oh, just reach out. If you have any questions, reach out. Definitely here to help you. And there's so many podcast groups where people are like willing to like, hey, I found this out and I thought I would help y'all. And then there's the other side of it when people get into podcast groups and tell you, you guys are fucking doing everything wrong. And let me tell you how this worked for me. And you just go, okay. So you came into this group basically to shit on everybody else because you're better than everybody here. And that's not cool and that's not okay. And you can go. I'm like, I'm not going to listen to you.
Right.
Basically just go, oh my God. And why do y'all do this? And hey, you shouldn't do this, 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 and this. And it's like, but I'm sorry.
Who the F are you? Yeah.
Like, seriously, I'm like, okay. Or better yet, they'll be like, oh, look, if you want my help, you need to pay me because this ain't free. And I'm like,
oh my God.
All right. I have a podcast. I'm going to put you through podcast school and I'm going to charge you this amount. And I'm like, boo, no.
Stephanie, I just took a nap because you just, yes, ma'am. I don't understand that. Oh, Lord, let me wake up. But you're so right. Because I'll be like, do what? I'm sorry, what? Like, half this information is free. Let's just be honest.
Right. I'm like, wait a minute. It's like, what? It's like, oh, you use that program for your stuff? Or, and this is really weird to say. And I guess because I don't do this on my podcast because you're a person that edits your own too.
Yeah.
I don't edit out
Okay.
And there are a lot of people who they're painstaking with their editing, which I understand. So I'm like, it's just not something that I do. And I don't know if it's because I try not to say when I'm speaking, because I'm like, look, I don't want to have to edit out every that I hear. Because I don't have time for that.
Yeah, one time I did it, I was like, nope, not doing this again.
Right.
I'm human. Oh well.
Right. So I think, and if you're somebody who's like, oh, I don't do that, it's kind of like some people look at you like, why not? Like, because I don't.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, it may have became because I was in a podcast group and someone was saying like, do y'all like, why don't you guys take this out or something like that? it to me, it was like a challenge for me to take it out. But then, like you said, I thought to myself, why not it be a challenge for me just not to keep saying and just and leave it at that, or just be like, okay, like you said, say it in my head and I say it out loud.
Right.
Because
right.
yeah, but like you said, when the first time I believe I've been a year and a half in podcasting. I don't know everything about podcasting. Like I really honestly do it for the love of just venting and podcasting and being social with people. Because if it was not for podcasting, I would be at home looking at my dogs all day. So but when people like be trying to charge people, and I'm not like shitting on anybody or anything like that, it's just like most of the stuff is free. And it's like, I don't have a problem telling you what you need to do. Now, my way might not be, your way, but I can tell you what my way is and make it simple for you. Because I'm like, to me, my equipment, the first time I got podcasting is not the same equipment I have now. And I believe I spent like a lot of money like the first month. And now it's just like, oh, well, everything that I got now is so minimal that it's just like, I could have did this in the beginning, but trying to like I said, the YouTube dark hole, it'll have you trying to build like a whole hustle and flow studio. And it's just like, you don't need all that.
Hustle and flow.
It's like, why is your mattress on your wall? What are you doing? So it's like, to me, it doesn't take all that to start, you don't want a pimp coming around the corner talking about, are you done yet? So
that is so funny. Oh Lord.
But yeah, I think it's like you said, it's really important just to share and just say, hey, if you have a question, here's my response to that question. If you have any other questions, let me know. And that's it. I have no problem telling people or giving advice and just saying, here you go. Because you never know who else you're helping when it comes to that. Yeah. Yeah, I think I saw somebody advertising about they would take out your arms for you for a fee. Oh, I was like, I could do that
for a fee. Woo,
yeah. Child. That's amazing what's out there on the internet. That's it. Okay, so I just said all. So
sometimes I just go, what was his name? Was it Adam Carolla? Was having like, you guys can pay, I have a podcast now and I'm gonna show you guys how to get successful like me. I'm like, you're Adam Carolla.
That's not gonna happen overnight.
What the hell is wrong? Like, sir, everybody already knows who the hell you are. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, why are y'all paying? What?
Yeah.
It's
and
like,
they will.
Adam Carolla. It's like, it's weird when you have like people who have a following and are famous people who are like, let me show you how to do it the way I did it. I'm like, but you're already famous. When you already have sponsors for your podcast,
right?
Because you're famous, sir.
It's not the same.
It's not. I'm like,
yeah. I think that's a very, very important message to all of our listeners out there, Crown ones, that you are not going to start off the same as a person next to you.
Right.
Or
and that's okay. You have to be okay with it. I think that's the other thing. It's like, be okay where you are and realize the bad part about the people that are successful with their podcast, they literally will tell you it did not start out this way. I'm like, I had to grind, I had to work. And they're like, put out consistent content, put out good quality content.
Yeah.
Literally, it's like, be consistent. Like, that's the first thing they say is be consistent. They're like, how did you get where you are? I'm consistent. And they're like, oh, but when did you start monetizing? Not off the bat. Like, ask Chris from MTR.
Right.
Like, ask him. He's been doing this like 9-10 years.
Yeah. And like you said, I may have found out, say, he's done 19 years. It may have not been to year 7 where he actually found something that works for him.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Okay, so moving on from there.
I'm sorry. I was about to laugh when you said don't edit out that either.
I'm not.
I'm like, maybe I'm not that critical of it.
I think it was just like a challenge to myself. I was like, I'm just gonna take out these I forgot what episode that was. But yeah, I think I just wanted to take it out for myself and just see how many times I said it. But Crown ones are human. Mm-hmm. So it's better than me just like yelling about a whole bunch of curse words at one time. Okay. So, what encouraged you to share your truth? Because I follow you on Facebook. I hate saying follow you on Facebook. Me and you, I feel like it's so. I don't like that word. I was listening to a song and the man was like, "Y'all out here being digital Jesuses with y'all followers," and I said, "Oh,
Really?
Like it kind of makes sense, but it's just like,
We're not Kanye. We ain't doing
right."
that stuff, child.
So me and you are Facebook buddies.
Yes, yes.
And I know on there you really, I believe in live. Well, I'm learning how to live in truth. It's a learning process because you always want to, balance out how much you tell people.
Yeah.
And how much you don't tell people. So how do you balance that out, and how important is that for
you? The balance is it's somewhat easy to go like, if I don't want people in my business, let me not put it in social media where people could go, oh, certain things I just don't share. But some things, especially with my mental health, I think for me being transparent, but also setting up boundaries on social media, because I think a lot of people think that you don't need to have boundaries. You should be boundaryless and just put everything out there. And, it's like throwing spaghetti at the wall and see what sticks. It's like, no, baby, you need to set up boundaries for your life, because it really does help you. But being open may allow for someone else who is going through it to go, oh, I could talk to you about this because you understand. And so I'll give you this, like, it's a short story, I guess.
Sure.
But, I was at a very low place in my single life where I just had a breaking point, or like a really shitty ass moment where I was just looking like, what's wrong with me? I'm tired of guys. And I literally put on my Facebook, I just really need somebody to talk to. And I just put it as a status. And there were so many people who reached out to me like, are you okay? Like, how can I help you? Here's my phone number. I'll message you. And then they were like, then people were asking me like, what's wrong? And then I told them what's wrong. They're like, oh, you can talk to me about anything. Like, oh, I know exactly what you're going through. And it's, something to relate. Sometimes those kind of things, like general things like, single life being in the ghetto, or dealing with social injustice, or seeing things out and you're like, oh gosh, I need to commiserate. Sometimes you need to commiserate, and that's not wallowing in pity. It's more, getting that off of you, because literally saying these things, sometimes it just helps me feel lighter. I'm not holding on to it, because I think there's this fear of people looking at you like you're weak. And that's the plight of the Black woman. We can't let anybody see us as weak.
Hello.
Yes. And we that title, strong Black woman, we put on literally every Black woman out there.
Yes.
And then when they have a moment of like, hey, I'm just having a down moment, I'm having a depressive episode, I just am tired of y'all, for real, then it becomes, oh, I guess she ain't strong, I guess she ain't this, I guess she ain't that. It's like, no, she's still a strong Black woman. She just don't have to perform. She don't have to perform strength for you.
Right. Oh, hello.
That's not what that is.
Yes.
Sometimes I have moments like I had recorded storytellers, and then I had my episode, because it was like I was just sick of dudes like not having any follow through. I mean, that's completely transparent. I'm tired of dudes saying I really want to go out with you, but then when it comes to oh, I'm sorry. Oh, you meant today? Did we say today? Like, right?
What?
Like, you don't understand. Homeboy messaged me at 4:45 and said, oh, I'd love to go out. Let's go out. And I was like, okay. And he's like, I'll come. I'll meet you. I was recording at 5:00. 7:30, he goes, and because he said, oh, pick a place. And I was like, okay. So I picked a place that was like close to me and also halfway between us. And I was like, or we can just go somewhere else. Like, either there's a restaurant here, or, if this is not too out the, thinking outside the box for a first date, why don't we go to Dave and Buster's? He didn't message me back until 7:30. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just looking at my phone. I guess it's too late. And I'm thinking it's 7:30 p.m.
Right.
I'm not 89. And even if I was 89, I'm grown.
Right.
And I was just like, really? Oh, I'm sorry. What are you doing tomorrow?
No, not you.
Pretty much. Oh Lord. And I just, I was just mad because that wasn't the first guy to say, "Oh, I'm so interested in you."
Yeah.
And then can never seem to make a plan and can never get stuff together or never really have any follow through. But tell women like you're not available enough. I'm like, I could be home in my house 7 days a week and it's still a dude going, "Oh, I gotta figure something out. Why I gotta pay for dinner? Can't you just come over to my house?" No, because there's this thing called serial killers and murderers, and I don't have time. And also, I don't know your ass.
Right. Oh gosh.
It's like, why y'all acting like it's so much? I'm like, oh my God, dating is dating expensive to a certain extent? Yes. Here's the thing. Y'all don't want to work to get to a point where I would take you out to dinner, but that is a relationship thing and a dating thing.
Right.
Like fourth or fifth date. It's like, oh, I got this.
Yeah.
But you don't want to work towards that point. And it's so tiresome. Like you want relationship perks, but you don't want to work.
Right, which is not going to work for us because we're
want me to work. It's like, oh no.
Well, tell him if you will. The Crown one is calling you a scumbag, sir. So come on there.
Why? That night he told me. This is so funny. That night he told me, "Oh, I didn't look at my phone." Then, I guess a week or so later, he was like, "I just want to apologize. I know you're mad."
Nope.
He's like, "Yeah, I double booked and I didn't look at my calendar before I said to you, let's meet." And I'm sitting here like, hold up, player.
What?
First, it was you didn't look at your phone until 7:30. Now it's I didn't look at my schedule.
You don't think we can go back down the timeline?
I'm sitting here like, you're on your phone with your calendar. So before you say, "Oh, I can meet you tonight," how about you look at your calendar? And then he's like, "Yeah, and I live an hour away from you." I'm like, so here's the thing. I'm somewhat flexible.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're like, "Oh, if y'all have to plan days in advance," I'm fine with that. What I'm not flexible on is bullshit. So what you won't do is lie to me. I don't like liars. And it's a dumb thing to lie about. Because you could have said that night one. He's like, "Hey, I'm sorry. I didn't look at my calendar. Can we do it another day?" That's all you had to do instead of like going like, "Oh my gosh. Oh, well, I guess it's too late to go out tonight, huh?" It's like, it's not, but okay.
Because I'd rather you not even respond. Like you said, the lying. I was just talking to my sister plain Jane, and I was telling her that lying is so voluntary that nobody asks you to do it. You just do it like out of. Then to me, it's like make your lie entertaining, make it good. If you offer time out to voluntarily lie, like you don't have to lie.
And don't give me dumb lies. It's like it's a dumb lie. It's like.
Yeah, like put yourself like in a movie and make it sound like dramatic and
what are you doing? Like this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's like really?
Yeah.
What the hell?
But I think it's important to share that stuff because like you said, you never know what other people are going through. And it's just like, because like I'm sure if I was your Facebook buddy, I would have been like, "Hey sis, what we talking about tonight?"
Right.
I checked on you, but now we are. But yeah, I think it's really important, like you said, to have that balance, of course, but also be able to share your truth with people because it's relatable. So.
Yeah.
I started learning how to do that because most people don't. I was like in a 10-year relationship, and they decided to move, and I'm learning how to just love myself and be myself. And there is like a story attached to me. I call him the homie, me and the homie. But the thing is that because I am respectable of his issue, I try to tell my story here and there, but just to be respectable. So I'm still learning how to have that balance of, I wouldn't say truth, but it's just like being respectable and not saying like, "Well, this is what happened." And then it's like, it's not, just my story per se. So. Like I said, but there are, like I said, the whole dating thing. Ooh, it's a lot. My sister is the dating expert, the relationship expert on our show.
Oh, let me know. Let me know when I can get a session.
Yes, ma'am. Her mindset is, what she say? Think like a nigga, so you'll be treated like a bitch. So, so that So that is her logo. So I would definitely, if you have a question for her, I would definitely give her your information. She's really like, she has like the mindset of a dude. Like she said, she is woman, but she has just, I don't know. She's good at what she does, per se. So yeah. Like I said to myself, I'm just trying to be a hoe for hugs, so I get it. When you say Netflix and chill, that means that I am talking to you over the phone while you watching Netflix. So, so yeah, so like I said, very important to share your truths and have that balance. Do you sometimes get because I know that you have to look into social media for some of your topics. Do you sometimes get overwhelmed with that sometimes?
A little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like sometimes some topics are just heavy. Mm-hmm. And you can think that, I'm going to talk about this on the show. And then when you're talking about it, you're like, this is so heavy. It's like, whew. Yeah. Because I think I did like a series a couple of months ago where I talked about transphobia in the Black community because it was interesting. And I'll say this, y'all, don't read Facebook comments of like news pages, the shade room. Don't read those comments because
they're dark.
When they're seriously dark. And when they were talking about like all the Black trans women that have been killed, it's up to, I think it's 18 or 19. I think 19 overall, but because they may be considering the trans man that was killed in Dayton because they misgendered him. So it was it didn't come out until later. So I think it's either 18 or 19. I think the latest one was a trans woman being dragged behind a car and she's still alive.
My goodness.
And it's just like, oh my God. And so you would read these comments and for me it was just gut-wrenching to see them from cis Black women where I'm just like, oh gosh, they were ready like to like think they're like alley-ooping on trans women because they have uteruses. I'm like, girl, like we can have children. I'm like, ma'am, there are cis Black women that can't have children.
Right.
Not call them like if you're like if that is your thing of you're not a woman because you can't have a child, and there are actually straight women that were born female who cannot have children. So do you not call them women? And then it becomes, and then the goalpost is moved. Well, they can menstruate. There are straight Black women right now who are going through menopause who don't have a period. Are they still women? And then the goalpost moves again. I'm like, see, that's the thing. Just say you hate trans women and go.
Yeah, I remember you.
Keep it short.
Yeah, I listened to those episodes, and you were really beyond. That's the thing. It's like, why? Number one, why would you care about how people live their lives? That it takes time out of your day to comment, and then to continue to comment like negativity, and it's just like it's more ammunition to be negative than it is just to go on about your day.
Right.
Yeah. Like, oh. Yeah, I have that problem with Cardi B. I just want her to like just sit down.
Okay, so first of all,
we can talk about it.
I heard about what the hell she said, and she talks very reckless on social media, and I do pull for her. I don't know, something about I like for her. I really do pull for her. I really do. But wishing AIDS on somebody because they chopped and screwed a story on you, I'm like, baby, that's a lot.
Yeah.
You could have ended with like, fuck them and suck my dick, and
that could have been it.
It's like she went too far, and a lot of times she do it, and it's like, baby, friend, what are you doing, friend?
Yeah, because it's like who, and that was another person that sometimes I just feel like she should just not say anything, even when it's like, I think like on her end, like she needs her haters to hate, because it's like if you don't, then you don't have anything else to say on your platform. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know what I know. It's like, girl, have a good day. Like, you have money, you have a wonderful daughter, you have a husband that loves you and then reincarnated his whole life. And it's just like,
girl, and you brought that nigga back. It's
like, right, you brought him back from the grave. So, like, let's live your life. But yeah, I think having like that platform and just being, because I have to like go on social media too, and sometimes I just be like, let me just stay away from my phone for like 2 hours because that's a lot. lot to take in. And then like you think about it later, like, did she just say that? Like what? How? So yeah. So yes, I understand.
Yeah. Ooh, it's like, oh Lord.
Yeah, it gets sometimes. So being on social media, like you said, we can try to be consistent with our podcasting and trying to be, putting our voices out there. And it's just like you have to balance it out. But sometimes, like I'll say, like, okay, Wednesday, I'm not gonna open up my laptop. I'm not going to look for anything. I'm just going to live my life. Yeah, Wednesday morning I say that, and then by Wednesday, 3 o'clock, I'm like, who did Beyonce did what? So I don't know.
Beyonce did what?
I think my Instagram knows because I woke up this morning and Beyonce was like the first thing I saw on my Instagram, and I was like, hey sis, what are y'all doing today?
Ooh, what we doing? Let me tell you something.
Right.
When she had them Instagram stories about people doing the Before I Let Go dance, let me tell you something. I was like, y'all, Beyonce has an Instagram story. This is not a drill. She does not do this.
Right.
I'm like, what the hell? And people are like, well, she's on this like once or twice. I'm like, where the hell was I? When did I miss this? I'm like, y'all, she's still doing it. It's still a funny story. She did it for like 3 or 4 days. I'm like, oh my God, y'all.
I was the same way. And I always remind people that she does not talk to us directly. So
she comes down from Mount Olympus when she wants us to know about her. She'll tell us, but any other time she do not. All the stuff that Cardi B is doing, and Nicki, that bird, and all that back and forth, she don't do none of that. She don't answer none of y'all. I'm like, I get it, because one, I feel like if I was at Beyonce's level, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I wouldn't have. I would tweet and mute so effing quickly. I put out tweets and mute them. I'm like, nope, mute. Mute. Nope, I'm not.
She said that when she posts her stuff, she does not look down the comments. And when I'm not Beyonce status, but when she said that, like that got to me, was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go for it and just do what I do and call it a day. And it's just like that motivated me to, because sometimes, and I'm sure with podcasting, it's just like you have the thought of what people are thinking when they're listening to you. And sometimes that can get to you, or it gets to me, where I'm just like, oh, like you said, I was obsessed with download numbers like crazy.
Okay.
Yes, sis. Like
yes, sis.
I was on my lunch, like, no, like, I'm blessed to have a job where I shouldn't be on my phone, but they don't say anything. But like I was like constantly like, okay, this is release day. Okay, this is 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, so maybe people don't listen to it like on lunch, or people at work. Okay, so it's 6 o'clock at night, so maybe they'll listen to it like when they get to work, like when they get off or something. And like I had to step away from that and just say, okay, sis, you have a message that you're trying to get out there. If 3 people listen to your message, guess what? They're crowned, and leave it at that. So yeah, that balance of just going forth and not having to worry about that.
Yeah.
Like I said, she don't talk, even in her documentary on Netflix, sis had a voice.
Girl.
She doesn't even look at us.
She don't. It's
she
like,
never
girl.
looked at the camera. And when she was talking, have a Beyonce moment. And when she was talking about like them people like getting their stuff together, and then she started coughing, I said, y'all done make Beyonce mad, and that she can't get her words out. Get your stuff together. Like, what are y'all doing? So yeah. I can go off on a tangent with Beyonce. I just think she's wonderful. So, moving on from there.
He's such a mess.
Oh my gosh. I just love her work. At her and Kendrick Lamar, like I said, because like they're so great, but they don't do so much on social media. It's just like, what type of math is that? Because everybody out here is like always trying to like be on social media. And it's just like, you don't have to really go that way yet. But that's just me. Okay. So, speaking of that, how do you stay away from being competitive from other podcasters?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. How do you stay away from being competitive from other podcasters?
I'm sorry. I should have laughed at that. I think competition is healthy, but I just, it sounds so stupid to say, but I just don't. I mean, that is going to be definitely if someone is, I guess, on a bigger platform or getting a lot of sponsors, that's that level of envy you get. But I think I just realized that I like my show.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want to change my show to be like somebody I think is doing better than me, because that's not authentic to me, because they are doing well because people like the way that they are. They like the authenticity of their show.
Right.
So I would want to stay where I am. I'm like, I gotta keep it authentic for me. So if that means I just gotta work harder, or it's going to take a little bit longer for me, it's like, that's fine.
Oh, I love it.
It's kind of like I just don't. I mean, I don't know, but of course, there's always gonna be that envy of. I would love to have a whole bunch of sponsors for my podcast, and that way I don't have to work as hard as like in corporate America as I have to, because being a Black woman in corporate America, I feel like that's gonna be another series that I'm going to do where I'm literally going to invite Black. You know what? I'm saying it right now. I'm talking.
Yeah.
It's happening in 2020.
Okay.
So here's the deal. I'm going to be inviting Black women on
Hey.
the Mocha Minutes Podcast, and we're just going to talk about being a Black woman in corporate America.
I love it. You're sitting on your throne making proclamations.
And it's like, yep. I'm like, it's never like, it's time to talk about it. I'm like, the woes of being a Black woman in corporate America. Somebody always second guessing you.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody always telling you that you too Black, you too aggressive when you're literally just, or you too angry when you're not angry at all.
Right.
Like, Black women can't be assertive because that assertion is always seen as aggression.
Right.
And our male counterparts or non-white counterparts, it's seen as confidence and something attractive. In us, for some odd reason, it's just ugly and aggressive.
Right. Well, she mad today? No, I'm actually excited.
I'm actually like, Black women can't be passionate about stuff unless it's pleasing a man. Oh, who said that?
Right. Yeah, I taught my everybody knows my mother is like my idea person. So when I'm talking to her about CrownTalk or podcasting, like, I'm yelling, but it's out of passion. And she'd be like, "Oh, okay, well, you could just calm down a little bit." And I'm like, "No, you don't understand. This is what I'm trying to do." But she knows me, but taking that tone and trying to voice it, across the platform of men or white people, it's just like, okay, who made her mad today? Is everything all right with her? Check on her later. But like you said, it's just us being passionate about our art. And I think as creators, we are very passionate about our art. So yes, I understand that. Yeah. I try not. I think, like you said, it's a natural thing to just not be competitive, but just wonder how somebody else got there. But I always try to keep in mind what my intent is on my show. And like you said, I like my show, so therefore I can try to improve it for it to be on other platforms, but therefore still keep the content of my show. So thank you for that.
Oh.
So many jewels at this table that you have given me. I appreciate it. So with that being said, which is one of my favorite questions, your crown moment. And when I say crown moment, I'll just have to explain it, but I love explaining it. I believe that we are all crowned. I believe we all have our crowns. I'm putting my hand over my head. And that's because there are stories that are told, and whether we find ourselves within that story or not, it's that moment. I am a big Netflix fan of the TV show Crown. It's so good. It's coming back in November. It is, because it's about Queen Elizabeth. And I know,
okay.
Yes. And just like the stuff that she went through, it's just so relatable to where it was like, we're not giving away or anything, but like, her husband was cheating on her, and he didn't want to stop cheating on her until like he got like a child from her. And like, people go through that stuff like all the time. Like 75% of stuff that she went through, even though she was born through royalty, is stuff that people go through on an everyday basis. So I was like, even as a queen, your man can't stop cheating on you. Like,
yeah. Notice how it really don't matter. It's like,
yeah, it doesn't. Penis does not care. So
it really don't care. Like,
does
for real,
not care. But when I watched that, and then with me going through my transition of last year and just understanding, I'm trying to look at more African American and kings and queens. But of course, our stories are not really told on platforms. Right. So I've been doing like a lot of research and trying to work on that. But so I believe that we're all crowned and we have a moment to tell our story. So with that being said, when was your crown moment?
So, with that, I'm like, I'm trying to. I think my crown moment happened after 35.
Hmm.
I'm somebody who has dealt with a long time with depression.
Mm-hmm.
And I've spent a long time not loving myself, not loving the way that I look, not loving the situation I'm in, not liking being single, because there are people who are married who don't like being married. There are people who are single who don't like being single. So
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of just like being in your situation.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent a long time hating myself. I spent a long time not taking care of myself. I spent a long time hiding myself, or better, twisting myself up like a pretzel so people would like me.
Mm.
And my crown moment came when I really stopped giving a shit.
Yes.
I literally started loving myself more
Mm-hmm.
and valuing myself, and not letting people just walk all over me, or better, and also telling people when they've hurt my feelings, because I spent a
Mm.
long time literally just swallowing it and acting like, or not telling people when they've hurt my feelings and then swallowing it. And that kind of negativity or toxicity in your life, it festers and it
Yes.
seeps out in other ways. It changes the way you it actually could make you physically sick. It
Mm-hmm.
could make you act a certain way. Let you be actually aggressive when you're not.
Right.
You don't have those when you're actually aggressive. Like, I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying like people just assuming you're aggressive because you're a Black woman, but literally you being aggressive.
Yes.
And that took me going to therapy,
Mm-hmm.
and actually having that breakthrough and actually loving myself enough to go to therapy, because a lot of times in our community we don't go to therapy. We say, oh, we're just going to pray about it, as if God didn't create therapists and psychologists.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
like he created those people too. I don't know why you think, you know, you can just, yeah, I'm not going to go there because Wuchale.
Yeah, I was gonna go there with you.
But but
Yes, I love the Lord. Uh-huh.
I do.
Yeah.
Some of his people get on my nerves, but
Hello.
I still love him
Mm-hmm.
because he created all of us. Wuchale. And see, I actually did it. I said now I'm gonna laugh every time I do it.
I'm sorry.
It's just so funny. It
I'm
should
like,
be funny, but it so is.
okay.
It's just actually taking the time to love myself was a crown moment for me. Because it
Yes.
took a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm. That's okay. So I can understand your comment because I was actually talking to my friend yesterday. Well, I can tell part of my story because you told. Thank you. This is what I'm talking about. So last year, I had went into a depression where I was
Mm.
eating to the fact where I didn't care. Like I
Okay.
didn't. I was hungry. I want to eat. I didn't care if it was healthy, not healthy. I was going through a moment where I just love fried food, but it was all because of like so much things happening in my life to the point
Mm-hmm.
where I did not have a cycle for like 3 months.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So first time I'm saying this to you, so thank you. Let me
Wow.
get So I took a lot of pregnancy tests for like no reason. Look, every 2 weeks I was like, let me just check again. So, but I went to the doctor and she was like, hey, you're not pregnant. And I was like, I know that. And she said the thing is that you are overweight to the fact where your body is just not allowing you to be in your cycle. And I was like, what? And she was like, I forgot
Wow.
like the medical term that she said, I do not remember, but basically that's what she told me was that, and to me, because I believe that like your body talks to you.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, my body was like, sis, you don't need anything else going on with your life. So what we gonna do is like hold this part to like get everything else together. So
Oh, okay. Okay.
I went on a weight loss because I was like, no, I had to go to like the endocrinologist for like diet. It's an endocrinologist, diabetes, it's something else, but the word diabetes stuck out to me when I went to go see that doctor. And I was like, I don't want to have diabetes because I know
Right.
that, that's something that I'm not going to be not acceptable, but something that just freaked me out basically.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went there, she was like, okay, this is what you need to do to lose weight because nothing wrong with you per se. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have like all these tests came back and you just need to lose weight and see what happens. So I went
Mm-hmm.
like on this whole weight loss thing. I was all over the gram. I had lost like a lot of weight.
Mm-hmm.
And then after like a year or so, I started gaining the weight back. And I told my friend yesterday, I was like, I love myself, but I'm starting to feel uncomfortable in my body. So I need to change that and go back to losing weight. And she was like, you can't do it by yourself. And I was like, sis, no. I was like, not at all. And because it felt like I was going back into the depression of me just eating just to eat. And it's just like you said, I love myself. I know who I am. I am Crown. But there's just some days I just be like, I don't care today.
Right.
So I just will put it on the plate, sir. Just put it on the plate. I don't care. So I told you, so I was like, I think that I am going to join Weight Watchers and just try to lose some of these pounds, because me getting up in the morning and trying to because on my weight loss, I was shopping a lot because I thought I was going to have that body forever. And trying to put on winter clothes from last year to this year, it's not working out. And I was like, this doesn't make any sense. So, like you said, self-care is important, but you have to know or tell yourself, okay, if I don't feel comfortable like this has to change. So, and I got that from your Crown moment.
Aww. Well, I hope it works for you.
Me too. I don't mind. So I am a thick woman. That's not gonna.
Come on, thickums. Come on.
So yeah,
sis.
That's not gonna be I would never be skinny mini. But
come on, thigh meats. I'm sorry.
Hello. I can create a fire with my thighs. So if you're ever cold, I can let the guy know if you're ever cold. But yeah. So but it's my my stomach is just not where I want it to be, and I have to just accept that self-care of saying, hey, I don't want to end up in the same situation like I was before, where it's just my body's you can't take any other thing right now. So
okay.
See, listen to your story, allow me to share my story, which is a Crown moment for me and you. So thank you.
Hey.
I love it. Okay. So did you want to say anything, or no? Yeah. Did you want to say anything?
Let's see. Whew. I have lots to say, but first of all, this is purely shady. I'm so sorry. It really is, because I am really. She plucked my nerves, and she's been plucking my nerves for quite some time.
Oh.
But please do not be Amanda Seals.
Oh, girl.
Do not be her.
Right now, I'm putting my arms around you, and I am giving you a remotely hug. I don't know why I'm listening.
Here's the thing. The thing about it is I empathize with the embarrassment of being thrown out of a party. What I do not empathize with is you not taking accountability. So, dear ladies, I'm only talking to I'm men. Y'all can fast forward. I'm not talking to you right now. I have other shit for y'all. But ladies, I need y'all to stop doing this thing where you think that you are not wrong in some situation, and that it is everybody else. Baby, you are not. As a grown woman, you have to take ownership for your actions, because a lot of the situations that especially this situation with her in this party, she needs to own some of that, and she kind of it's kind of like it's the publisher's fault. And I find it very reckless that she had no problem naming this person. She had no problem naming the white lady named Kiara that was literally doing her own job. It's funny that you named the publicist and you named the white lady, but for some odd reason, you didn't name the black men that was literally throwing you out of the party. I'm like, no, please don't be Amanda Seals. Please not get on your podcast and grandstand and say it's everybody else. And let me tell you about this situation from my perspective, and not own my shit. Ladies, it's 2019, own your shit.
Yes, that's a Crown moment.
There's some stuff that you have to own. Your man hitting you, your man cheating on you, your man giving you STD, you ain't got to own that shit. That is his fault. And he did that shit. Because cheating is a choice.
It is how cheating is a choice.
Cheating is a choice.
I'm backing it up. Cheating is a choice.
It's like
So is lying.
It's a choice. It's like if you make that choice, you gotta own it. You gotta own that you made the choice to cheat and or lie.
And guys be like, well, you know,
if you weren't doing this, and this, and this, I'm like, you know what works? Your mouth. And you can say, this is not working for me. You can just leave. It's okay to just leave. Don't just stay because you are homosexual and you ain't got nowhere to go.
Hello.
But late, yeah, please don't be Amanda Seales because I listened to that podcast.
I didn't want to watch it. I'm scared.
It's a lot of sound effects, and I'm going, girl, it's very, for me, it was a little bit on the condescending side.
Right.
And it basically reinforces all the folks that literally like were, you know, hitting their 3-point shots on her on Twitter about their interactions with her. Something that a lot of people, if you go down the Twitter hole, you've heard it from a lot of other people, and it's just whew.
Yeah, I try to find my balance with her because certain things she does speak truth of, and then certain other things I just be like, nah, that's not everybody's mindset, sis.
So I can really tell you where I was off of her. And this was a while ago. Now, this is about R. Kelly and how she was saying y'all wrong for supporting him and this, that, and third. Here's the thing. She is in my broken clock cabinet. She's a broken clock. So is she right about that? Yes, she is. However, the next day she was going on Charlamagne's show. And then when people were calling on it, she said, I know, guys, I know. It's just, he's been my friend for 10 years. And I'm like, okay, so here's the thing. You can't chastise people for supporting a alleged sexual predator.
Right.
Then go on an alleged sexual predator show. That's not how that works.
Right.
Okay, so that's not how this works. But it does when you realize that people are people and we're human and, you know, we make contingencies for our faiths and our family members. So
like you said, certain things, because I feel like, you know, the internet is unapologetic.
Very. It's kind of like it's either black and white when things are so gray, and it's always hilarious. I'm like, so this is not totally black and white here.
Yeah, I don't know who is doing like the Twitter time machine where they keep going back to like 10 years ago and finding people's Twitters.
And the bad part about it is y'all could just delete this stuff. It's like, baby, because the thing that I've noticed is that when stuff blows up, when people's tweets are found, it's been found by smaller venues and people with smaller followings years before that. And you would think, because it happened with James Gunn and those ladies. So the whole thing with James Gunn, I know this is like tripping into Mocha Minutes and why so serious, but there were women, there were women nerd fans who pointed this out before, and then the male nerd fans either doxed them or threatened them or harassed them, so then they just stopped talking. So and then when it blew up, it was like, oh my God, and y'all just found this out. I'm like, no, women told you. They told you this was out here about him. Y'all just didn't want to listen to them. It's like, y'all told him to shut up, and like, you're just trying to hurt him. So you think the first time that this came up that he would have gotten rid of them then. He didn't. Kevin Hart was the same way. He was asked about it in a daggone magazine years ago.
Yeah.
He left it there. He didn't apologize then. He didn't really apologize the second time. And then it's like, I ain't going to apologize. And then went on an apology tour, but then got really contentious with Michael Strahan of all people. If that wasn't the most softball interview, I'm like, you lucky Robin Roberts wasn't there.
Right.
She would have dug in your ass.
Definitely would have. She probably would make sure she was out that day.
Right. I was like, I think she wasn't there that day because y'all made sure not to give him Robin Roberts.
Right. I ain't got time for you guys.
She'd be like, girl, no. Because she dug in Nate Parker's ass because she wasn't accepting his stuff. So she wasn't going to accept Kevin Hart's.
I just thought about it the other day. I forgot that was today. I was watching Abstract on Netflix and they were talking about like the costumes and stuff. And, not his movie, but the original movie with the slaves and everything. And I was like, oh, they definitely canceled Nate Parker because I have not seen him since.
Yeah, I'm like, apparently he has a new movie that like was at the different, like the Toronto Film Fest and the Cannes.
Oh.
It didn't get that good of reviews, so that's probably why it's not like a lot of fanfare. So it's like, it's like I get cancel culture to a certain extent because I do. I also
Yeah.
get that nobody ever gets really canceled.
Right.
They just get put on pause.
Yeah,
They're
I'd rather it be like a pause moment.
So
Yeah,
you postpone for a little bit. You can come back in a few years, because nobody really gets canceled. Anytime that Kanye West still gets 17,000 people to come to his quote unquote Sunday service, and then he say what he say, and they're like, "Oh, did y'all forget?
Yeah, because he's still
he ain't changed. He's saying
because he was talking about the reason he was still trying to justify him wearing the hat, and I was like, y'all thought he changed his mind? Like,
right? It's like, oh no, he's like, I'm gonna switch to gospel music. I'm like, so we ain't even gonna talk about the conservatism that's in gospel music. But y'all not ready to have that, because if Republicans were less racist, y'all would all be more open about having the same sort of views.
Right.
If they weren't so racist, y'all would be running.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep.
Y'all line up on all the LGBTQ stuff. You line up on the women's rights stuff. Y'all just don't line up on the race stuff. That's the other stuff.
Right. That stuff y'all just put towards the back of the folder. All righty. Well, I don't want to hold you. I'm being silly. But yes, so to all of my crowners out there, please follow Miss Stephanie on Mocha Minutes Podcast. And you're at, can you do your handlers, your social media, please?
So on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, the handle for the show is at Mocha Minutes on all of those platforms. If you want to shoot me an email, you can email me at mochaminutes@gmail.com. If you would like to follow me on the Spicy Bird, aka Twitter, where I'm a big fan of Louis Tan.
Aw, yes, you are.
It's so fine. It's ridiculous. I'm just like, he's so fine. Anyway, you can follow me. My Twitter is Sunny Twote That. That's SUNNYTWOTETHAT. Yeah, that's where you can find me.
Okay. Well, thank you so much again. And I'll say it again. Thank you for allowing me to be on your show. It has my ideas. I was watching Comedians in Cars and Coffee. I love that show. But Dave Chappelle was on. I love Seinfeld. Like, he put on Twitter that Seinfeld may be coming back, and I almost had a fallout. So
really,
I was like, oh, what? Wait, what? Like,
wait, what?
I was like, what? I think he was talking about like a baseball player being like on the show. But I was like, I don't care. Like, I just love like his work ethic and just him like as a person. But Dave Chappelle was on his he interviewed Dave Chappelle, and Dave Chappelle was saying that the best thing that you can do sometimes is to wake up and allow your idea to be the driver and you be the passenger. So with that being said, when I was on this show, and sometimes I overthink things, and I was like, Crown Talk, but whose crown I'm gonna recognize next year? Like, I'm gonna run out of people. And I told my friend that. He was like, why did you think that? I was like, I don't know. It's like, you just run out of people. He was like, no, you don't do that. And I didn't know anything about like remotely podcasting. So thank you so much for just opening up that door. I think it's wonderful. I never like be a guest for like clout or anything. It's just that I know it takes two people to do a podcast, even if just you and you podcasting or just you and a guest. But it's like, I think that when you are a guest, it kind of helps the guests learn things, and also it's like a friend connection or a buddy connection or whatever. So
yeah,
thank you
so much for having me. Thank you for coming on the show, and definitely please come back.
Oh, hit me up anytime. King will not be there.
Aww.
It's fine,
because it was like I don't know, and this seems so weird because some people are like, oh my god, I gotta have complete silence when I record. Sometimes like I listen to a show called Ratchet Ramblings, and one of this guests, she has like a 2-year-old. London is the star. She is so funny because now she's more talkative.
Yeah.
So she'll be like, yeah, what? Yeah. I'm like, why is it perfectly timed to what y'all talking about? She don't know what y'all talking about. But it just works out, and I think it's cute. So it's like, it's like, hey, sometimes like you can't control that. I had my brother on, and my nephew, we were recording because now he's more talkative and he's more verbal. And then he literally picked up my remote and turned on my television.
While you were podcasting?
While we were podcasting, I was like, and he just turned on the television. My brother's like, oh my God. I'm like, Steven, we can just pause it. It's not that big of a deal.
Right.
Like, it's not that serious. It's just, he's a little boy. It's like, what you want me to? It's like, he's a little boy and he's awake. Last time we recorded, he was asleep the whole time. This time he woke up and was just like playing with stuff in my living room. He knows how to sing and write in Arabic. He taught himself. I don't know.
Right. Oh, wow.
He doesn't know. So, yeah, I didn't know there was such a thing called YouTube Kids until he was recorded, until he born. I didn't know there was a YouTube Kids. I don't know why I thought it wasn't. I'm like, I guess.
I didn't know that either.
Right. So it's like YouTube Kids is just full of little videos, Sesame Street, all the different shows, but it has a lot of educational stuff. So he just found it. He literally just found it, and now he can sing in Arabic because the videos are full of songs.
Right.
So he was at the playground one day, and he was like he likes to write.
Mm-hmm.
So in the sand, he's writing in Arabic, and this man walks by. I guess he was Muslim, and he said, "Are you Muslim?" And my brother goes, "No."
No.
He's like, "Did you teach him that?" And he said, "No, you can read it." He's like, "Yeah, I can read it." It's like,
wow.
Well enough for somebody who speaks it to actually read it. I'm like, that is so. I'm like, and Steven, so now when he sings, I'm like, is he singing in Arabic? He's like, he is. And I'm like,
wow.
Seriously, how did he learn this? He's like, I still don't know. I still don't. I don't. And it's like, I just let him do what he wants. It's like, that's fine.
Wow, that's
right.
Wow.
I was like,
what did he just say?
And it was so easy, but it's so easy for kids to pick up languages. Anyway,
yeah.
So that's not surprising.
It's easier when they're younger than me trying to spit in somebody's face, trying to say something.
Right. You'd be like, what'd you just say? I don't know.
I have no idea.
No, kids are sponges, and at that age, he's definitely a sponge.
Yeah. My nephew is a mess. Oh yeah, he thought my sister, he saw like a flyer at his school, and it said PTA meeting. So he came to my mom and he was like, don't my TT and my mom be having PTA meetings? And my mom was like, those are AA meetings. I was like, that's the podcast. He was like, oh, there's a difference? And I was like, there's definitely a difference. So yes, little kids are watching. I was like, oh, he knows when I'm crowning. I'm recognizing people crown. So, all righty. Well, thank you so much for being on Crown Talk. I appreciate it. Thank you for accepting all my friend requests.
Of course.
I'm like, I ain't trying to stalk her or nothing. I'm just trying to like promote the show, but I want her to think like, oh Lord,
you were totally fine. That is hilarious. I was like, I don't feel stalked.
Okay, thank you.
And everybody don't have no hot girl stalking them, so that's fine.
Right, not me. They'll be highly bored. Like, you don't do nothing at all, sir. Well, thank you so much for being on Crown Talk. Again, this has been Crown Talk. My name is Rebecca. I was here with Stephanie. And to all of my crown ones, please don't forget you're crowned, and don't forget your crown.
Hey, that's a word.
And we are out of here.